So I know that it's been a very long time since I did one of these. I know no one actually asked for me to do another one. I just thought, you know what, it's been long enough. I've done another series and I've released it, so I might as well get this over with. and I don't know. I feel like there's been a lot of questions people have been asking, and I haven't been able to answer everything in the comments. So here we are. I'm going to try and answer as many of them as I can. Some of them are like duplicate. Some people ask the same questions, but I'll give everyone the time of day. I'm just gonna probably have some similar answers, and there's also some questions that ask spoilerific, what I call them, spoilerific. They would contain spoilerific answers, so I probably won't answer those directly, but I'm still going to acknowledge them, okay? Thanks to everyone who asked, and I'll get right to the listing now. Let's see here. So the first question is asked by Jennifer E. It's, at some point in your LEGO DC series, will you bring Bruce Wayne back to life, maybe with a Lazarus pit? So this is exactly what I mean. This is a very spoilerific question. I can't actually answer it, but I appreciate that you think about my series at all. So thank you. But don't worry, I will answer your other questions, Jennifer. You asked a lot of questions. Team 2 Phoenix asks, can you bring back Bruce Wayne? So this is pretty much the same question. I can't answer it, but I note that you want Bruce back, okay? I mean, I already have everything planned out, but I'll keep it in mind that you want Bruce back, okay? Homer's dad, it doesn't say this, but Grandpa Simpson asks, do you plan to ever bring Bruce back from the dead? And if you do, would it be like Arkham Knight where he hallucinates the Joker? Will there be more episodes with the Justice League? And will Batman Dick Grayson join? So, this is the last of the questions that were asked about bringing back Bruce. Thought I'd just do them all in a row. But if Bruce ever does come back, it wouldn't be like Arkham Knight. As for the question about the Justice League, there will be more episodes with them in it, and in fact, 3 of them show up in their own individual storylines in Teen Titans. As for Dick Grayson, you'll just have to wait and see what happens with him. Pasta La Vista, baby. Pasta La Vista asks, will you be continuing the Batman series with Dick Grayson, or was Season 4 the end of Batman? It'll be back eventually. I can't say when. I have things planned out, the series, like that I want to do, an order for them, but and Batman is one of them. So don't worry, that story will continue eventually. There's just some other things that I want to do first. TDAS Mal, by the way, just in case you're listening to this, I love Total Drama All-Stars, and I think that Mal and Zoe were the best characters in that entire season, so shout out there. But anyway, TDAS Mal asks, if Bruce isn't brought back to life, will you continue the Batman series? And if so, will you do Batman Beyond with Terry McGinnis following in Dick Grayson's footsteps? So, to answer your question, whether Bruce is brought back or not, I will be revisiting Batman, like I told Pasta. As for Batman Beyond, I don't have any plans for a series, but I did have a certain episode planned that would pay some kind of tribute to Batman Beyond. I don't want to say what it is. If I say anything else, I'll spoil it, so I'll stop there, okay? Diego Garcia asks, have you ever considered doing a Batman Beyond series? Because I would love to see you make one. So the answer is pretty much the same as the last question, but I want to say, Diego, I do appreciate the vote of confidence, okay? Stephen Waters has 2 questions. 1, will you be doing shows that aren't DC or pirate related, such as Bond or Marvel? And 2, will you bring Batman back, as in we are actually in Gotham, following the adventures of Dick Grayson as Batman? Love your shows. Keep up the good work. Thank you. I'll answer the second question first, because it's the same answer. Yeah, we'll be back eventually. As for the first question, doing shows that aren't DC or pirate related. Yes, I actually do have 2 series planned out that aren't related to DC or pirates. One of them almost has its first installment finished. There's just some voices and some lines that I need from someone, and then it'll be finished. I hope that it'll be up sometime this year. There's 2 others that I'm considering doing, but with one, I don't have enough sets from the line right now, and with the other, I'm worried about COPPA judging it differently than it does normal LEGO videos. Jennifer E's second question, she asks, will Vicky, Hugo Strange, Jim Gordon, Alfred, Oracle, Timothy Drake, and his dad all return in new content? And will Harley and Ivy, Mad Hatter, Clayface, Scarface, Lockup, Ra's al Ghul, Scarecrow, Jason Todd, and other villains get their own episodes? And will Ace the Bat Hound be in your series? So, every single character you just mentioned, Jennifer, aside from Ace the Bat Hound, will appear. One of the villains you mentioned may be showing up again sooner than you think. I won't say which one, but I'm just going to leave it ominously there. Nyasha Coombs, I hope I didn't mangle your name there, asks, is the Joker truly dead, and any plans for the JLA? Well, I can't answer the Joker question because spoilers, but yes, there are plans for the JLA. Jennifer's third question. So Jennifer E., are Joker and Bane really dead? Will the Justice League get back together? And if so, will Dick Grayson Batman join the JLA? Joker and Bane, I can't say because spoilers. With the Justice League and Dick Grayson, that's also spoilers. I wish there was something I could say, but no matter what I said here, it would give something away. So I just have to answer with an ominous silence. There's some ominous silence right there. Jennifer E. also asks, will Lex Luthor and Nora Freeze return? So Lex will definitely return eventually. Nora, I'm not sure. Fuzzy Jonah asks, can you make a Lego Nightwing Season 2? Well, if I did make one, it would have to take place between Nightwing Season 1 and Batman Season 4's Hush from the Darkness. At the moment, Dick Grayson's a bit busy, so I hadn't exactly planned it, but I'll think about it, okay? If there's a story to be told in there that would become relevant later on, or even if it would just be cool, I'll think about it. Kyle Arkham says, I hate asking this, but I just got to know. First, I loved Season 1 of Teen Titans, but do you plan on doing Batman Reborn when you decide to revisit that world? If you mean the comic storyline, Batman Reborn, no, but if you're asking if I mean to revisit that world, then yes, certainly. Sam Rennie asks, you probably can't answer this without spoiling anything, but will Baby Doll and Bookworm appear in future content? Also, will Mad Hatter, Ventriloquist, and Scarface return if you do anything Batman-related? Moving aside from Batman, again, it could be spoiler-related, will Puppet King appear in the Teen Titans series? So, with Baby Doll and Bookworm, one of them will eventually appear, I won't say which. Yes, to Mad Hatter and Ventriloquist also. Both of them will. And then you ask about Puppet King. Okay, so something I've noticed is that some people really want Puppet King. This isn't the first time someone's asked for me to include him. And I'm going to be honest, I don't exactly have plans for him to show up, but it wouldn't be too difficult to work him in. It just wouldn't be until the last season if I do end up using him. What do you guys think? Do you want to see Puppet King? Let me know if you do. Gravity Films 4 says, this could be possible spoiler territory, so I understand if you can't answer, but do you think this new Teen Titans series will branch into anything larger for the DC universe you've built? Also, how well would you say the reaction went for this Teen Titans series? I really enjoyed it, but it didn't get much attention. What are your thoughts? Finally, and again, this could be spoiler territory, but any plans to reunite the Justice League? So, for the first question, yes, I have a big plan. I had everything mapped out for years now in terms of where I want to go with DC and what stories I want to tell. Second, about the reaction. So, overall, I think I'm happy about it. I'm sure that over time the views will increase like what Batman did. Like when I first started Batman, it took a whole year for the first 2 episodes to get actual attention. I think that there were also several other factors here, like the timing of the upload, you know? I thought it'd be a good time because people might want to be distracted from the real world, but maybe that wasn't the case. I also probably made a mistake uploading them once every 2 days. I think it was too fast. I was so nervous about the reaction that I wanted to get it over with. Like, I had never taken this big of a risk before with this channel. Next time, I'll be sure to spread it out more, maybe back to 2 episodes per week. But either way, I will definitely be continuing this series because, well, one, seasons 2, 3, and 4 are, they're almost finished. Well, 2 and 3 especially. And honestly, to be personal for a moment here, just a few weeks ago, my father died of a heart attack. And he helped me sometimes with scripts. Like when I'd get stuck, I'd just like run things by him and he would sometimes help, or sometimes he'd just listen to me talk until I worked it out myself. Like whenever I'd come in like across a snag. So the rest of the series is actually going to be dedicated in his memory. So I'm going to stick it out. Not just because I want to tell the story, not just because I have to because of how much time I've devoted to it, but also for him. So as for the last question, plans to reunite the Justice League. You'll just have to wait and see what happens. Thanks for asking, man. Isaiah A. asks, are you going to do a Season 2 of LEGO Teen Titans? And the answer is yes, it's partially finished. And then we have, Don't Change My Screen Name says, is Season 2 a thing? Indeed, that is my answer, indeed. And then Cubs Zero Productions asks, how close are you to finishing Teen Titans Season 2? So, I have all of the scripts finished, and all the filming is done. I have lines from 2 voice actors. I just need 1 voice actor's lines, then I can record my own, and then I have to edit them. Season 3, it's the exact same amount of progress. Season 4, I've finished writing all the scripts, and I'm just doing the filming now, and I sent the lines to the voice actors. I've already gotten the lines from 2 of them. So that's pretty cool. Kwama Buada, I hope I didn't mangle that name, asks, will you ever show the original Titans? Nightwing, Red Arrow, Tempest, Donna Troy, and Wally West. So, 2 of those names you listed are going to appear eventually, but I will not say which ones. William Pulfer Melville asks, will Dick Grayson appear in an episode of your Teen Titans as a love interest for Starfire? So, Dick Grayson isn't actually set to appear at any point in this series. I want to keep his story separate from Damian Wayne's, but that isn't to say that he and Starfire will never meet. Lego Man McD asks, are you going to do the Judas contract storyline? So, okay, I do have Brother Blood, but he's set for a different path in the series. As are the other characters involved with the storyline. There's a little bit of inspiration from it in what happens, but overall, Judas Contract isn't really going to be adapted. BLX Noob asks, will we see the Suicide Squad again? Will a new Joker be back? Will you add more members to Teen Titans? What new villains and heroes will come? I'm a big fan, by the way. So, thanks. Someday you will see the squad again. The new Joker will eventually be back, but just not in this series. And yes, eventually some new members start getting added to the team, the Teen Titans, but time is spent on developing the current ones first. As for which villains will come, if you look at the intro of each episode, there's a bit where you see the silhouettes of most of the villains that eventually show up. See if you can recognize or take a guess at any of them if you like. But most of it's going to be a surprise. Santa Claus has 2 questions, and I guess I'll read this in a Santa voice. This is going to sound a bit more like Evil Santa from Craig Ferguson, but 2 questions. 1, have you been a good boy this year? Ho, ho, ho. And 2nd, did it make you nervous to be trying something so new with Teen Titans? I loved it, by the way. Yes, ho, 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 Santa. And yes, I was terrified. I was terrified that people weren't going to like it and that I had dedicated all this time to nothing. I'm really glad that people ended up liking it and giving it a chance. I think that it only gets better with each season, but hey, that's just my opinion. Clueless Soul says, hey, some episodes don't work for me, copyright or something like that. And yeah, I know about that. I tried to dispute it, but they refused to make it public everywhere. So what I ended up doing, I ended up uploading them to my Facebook page as a backup plan. So I haven't uploaded the Teen Titans episodes yet, but I think everything else is up there. If you're having any problems with YouTube, you should be able to watch it even if you don't have an account. So if there's anything that you're having trouble watching on YouTube, if it won't let you see it, try going to my Facebook page. Most things got past copyright there, I think. Cubs Zero Productions with his second question asks, what is your favorite season out of all the LEGO shows you have created? So I think it's LEGO Batman Season 4. I just feel like, especially in the second half, I achieved like next level storytelling for me anyway, and I think I really matured as a writer during that time. That's not to say that I'm not proud of the other stuff I'm done. I'm super proud of the Nightfall storyline from Season 3, and I'm glad Teen Titans has gone over well so far, but I'm just really glad with how Season 4 generally turned out. Jennifer E. returns with another question. What was your favorite Lego Batman Season 4 episode? So, this is going to be a lame answer, I think, because it's kind of predictable, but the finale, Warriors of the Night, was my favorite. I was really happy with how I somehow managed to juggle 4 villains and not make it feel too crowded with Joker, Jason Todd, Bane, and Hush. And I think that the ending actually wound up being a nice message in how the more things change, the more they stay the same, you know? So I would say the finale. Jordan Films asks, what's your favorite season, show, and episode from all your DC series? And yeah, like I said, it's Lego Batman Season 4, the finale. I have to give it to that. So this question was actually asked by Crimson Peak and James Lake, both, like, separately. But I figured it was pretty much the exact same question. It was just asked in a different way. Will Kid Flash appear in Teen Titans? So this is going to undo an answer that I gave back, or at least it'll give something away, but because they ask it like everywhere sometimes, maybe it's not them, but there's someone who often asks, what about Kid Flash? Yes, okay, Kid Flash is eventually going to show up, okay? I mean, I appreciate your enthusiasm. Jordan Films asks one of the most difficult questions that I have ever been asked. What year is all of your series in, and how long is Batman? So, okay, in terms of time period, I'm thinking like early 2000s maybe. I haven't actually decided on a time period because of all the old cars that I've used. In terms of how long it is, so I wrote it down somewhere once, but I couldn't find the document for this question. So I'm gonna wing it here. Beginnings, if I remember correctly, was roughly a year for the first half. Then there was a time skip of several years after Outspoken. Like that was the mid-season finale, I guess. Then there was another 6 months maybe in Beginnings. And then there was Season 1 and Season 2 of Batman. That was maybe a year. Season 3 was in the winter, and Season 4 went into spring of the next year. So you do the math. Teen Titans Season 1, I guess it was like maybe 6 months, if that. Maybe like only like 4 or 5 months, actually. I don't know. It's not... I swear I wrote this down. I just need to find the document. I have so many. Jennifer E. strikes back and asks, what is your favorite Batsuit you have in Lego? I think it would be the first one that Batman wore in Season 1. You know, the black outfit. I don't know. I just really liked it. JC Films asks, what story would you like to do but never have the time or budget? It doesn't have to be DC related. There are 2 of them. So one of them, I want to preface this by saying I grew up on the previous Star Wars continuity before Disney bought it. You know, it was the expanded universe. There were some really good stories in there. Sometimes, I guess, some of them were a bit contradictory, but they were eventually... Some canonicity was eventually worked out. I don't know. But I had actually planned to... or thought about doing... like adapting certain books in the Star Wars expanded universe, like in order. For example, like I would start with like the Darth Bane trilogy, and then go into like some of the Old Republic stuff, get to Darth Plagueis, and I would use like I have a lot of Star Wars sets and I have a lot of Star Wars characters. I mean, you've seen how many clones I have. I use them for the League of Assassins, but I just... It's just so much, you know, like there's so many books, there's so many sets I would need. It would take up so much time. And it's like, honestly, I have so much to do, but like it would take me into my 50s to do it all. And I'm 22 right now. Like it is just insane how much I give myself. The other thing was A Song of Ice and Fire. I was planning this, like what made me start planning this, like adapting the Song of Ice and Fire books into a Lego series, was I was watching Game of Thrones. I was a huge fan of Game of Thrones for the first 4 seasons. Season 5, I thought, it's getting kind of weird. You know, they're kind of deviating from the books and not exactly in a good way. So I was like, maybe I could make a version that's like more faithful to the books. Then they Season 5, Episode 9 happened, and there was probably the most horrific death scene that they ever did in that show. I won't spoil it if there's anyone who wants to watch it, but it honestly just like turned me off doing it because I was like, wow, that's grotesque. And to be honest, the producers were like, oh, well, George is going to do it in the books. So I was like, I don't want to animate that, you know? But I had made a whole bunch of characters. I'd made the whole Night's Watch, the Tyrells, the Lannisters. I had done a lot of work. I made all of Ned Stark's guards, but I don't think that either one, the Star Wars or Song of Ice and Fire, will happen. I mean, maybe. Never say never, but I don't know. Those are the two things that I wish I could do, but I just don't have the time to do them. The next question is actually from Darth Nihilus. Funny, I should speak about Star Wars. Do you ever plan to give Pirates a third and final installment? And the answer is, eventually, I think, yes. Some ideas have been coming to me about how to tie everything up. Originally, I was like, oh, well, the second one has to be the end. But that really was a bit of a cliffhanger, wasn't it? The more I think about it, I was like, oh, well, I could do it, and it could be like, oh, well, it shows the true nature of pirates. And yeah, it does, but there's a lot of loose ends that I hadn't noticed before that I think should be tied up. I've been planning some things, just writing things down, taking it slow, you know? I'm not going to force anything. If something comes to me and I feel like it's good enough, I'll do it. But that's my answer. Echo Productions asks a similar question. Will there be a Season 3 for Pirates? And yeah, probably, but I don't want to get expectations up because it probably wouldn't be for a while, okay? Because again, like I said, I'm trying to take this slow. Llama for Loaf asks, can you do Marvel stuff? So, I had once planned to do a Spider-Man series, and I had even collected some figures for it, you know? But I ended up losing interest. As for the rest of Marvel, I don't really think I know enough about it to do the characters justice or to make that kind of commitment, you know? Like, I grew up more with DC. Like, I grew up with Spider-Man, yeah, and, like, Hulk, but that was kind of it with Marvel, you know? I mean, eventually I learned more about it as I got older, but I don't think I would be devoted enough to do that with Marvel, what I've done with DC. So for now, the answer looks like no, but again, like I said with the Star Wars and Song of Ice and Fire thing, never say never. Don't Change My Screen Name has 3 questions in a row. Could you make a Suicide Squad series? Could you do a mini-series on Flash? And can you make a Superman series? So, of those 3 that you mentioned, 2 of those series will definitely happen. 1 will probably not happen. To avoid spoilers, I won't say which. Leo Filmmaker 8 has a few questions here. What are your favorite DC films? How would you rank the DCEU films? What are your favorite films and TV shows? P.S. Your series is one of the first I discovered and is still my favorite. Well, thank you very much. So for the first question, my favorite DC films, I would say The Dark Knight and Joker. I just think that they were both incredible, you know? I don't know. I think that I was originally going to like overlook Joker because honestly, like DC has been having a lot of difficulty with movies, but Joker really surprised me in a pleasant way, and it's really good if you haven't seen it. 2, in terms of ranking the DCEU movies from best to worst, in my opinion, at the top, I would put Wonder Woman. I don't think it's perfect. The third act kind of fell apart a little bit, I think. But I think it's the best one of those movies. Second, Aquaman. Then Shazam, Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, Justice League, Suicide Squad, and then at the very, very bottom, I would put Birds of Prey. And as for the third question, favorite films and TV shows, I like Lord of the Rings trilogy and the Hunger Games movies and the Insidious movies quite a bit. And I guess I also like the Harry Potter movies, but I like the books better. In terms of shows, I like Breaking Bad, Xena Warrior Princess, and Haven. I think that they're some of the best TV shows in terms of live action shows. Stud Bud Films asks, what got you into stop motion? So there was an old video on the Lego website from when I was a little kid. It was the first stop motion video I had ever seen, and it was called An Average Death Star Day. It was so great. It was just, I found it really funny and amazing that it was like all the Lego figures were moving on their own. And then after that, I discovered Alex Kubers, and he was working on Battle of the Brick Built for Combat, and that inspired me in a whole other way, and eventually I just started doing them. Justin Lego Productions asks, what do you use to film your videos, and how do you sound like all the different characters you voice in your videos? So, I use an old Nikon camera, very old, it's like 2005 or something. That's why the animation has never been what I wanted it to be. The battery dies really fast, and I can't afford to get a new camera that meets all of my requirements. This camera is, like, I'm used to it, and I move quickly with it, but it's like the bane of my existence in that regard. In terms of the voices, I use Audacity. What you can do with it, you can change the pitch, and you can add echo, you can do equalization, you can pretty much do anything you want. You can even slow the tempo if you want. It comes in really handy. Cubs Zero Productions asks, who is your least favorite member of the Bat family? 2 words. Batmite. I wanted to sound really angry for that. I don't know why. He also asks, rank the main Robins from worst to best. Okay, so I just want to clarify that this isn't me rating them as characters and how they're written. It's more just how effective I think they are as Robin. So we're starting at the bottom here. I would say Jason Todd is the first one because he was always destined to be something else. So I think that he never really worked as a Robin, but I think that's a part of his story that too many people skip, you know? They're just like, oh, he's Red Hood. It's like, okay, but what happens first? But anyway, that's a different... Stephanie Brown, I'd put her next because she's better as spoiler, I think. Damian Wayne, I'd put above that. Carrie Kelly above that. Tim Drake above that. And then Dick Grayson has always, in my opinion, been the ultimate Robin, you know? I just always liked Dick Grayson. Jennifer E. returns with another question, asking, have I seen Gravity Falls? I have not. Should I? Should I watch it, Jennifer? Randy Cohn asks, have you seen the She-Ra and the Princesses of Power show? And what do you think of it, if you have? So, okay, I haven't seen it, but I've seen clips of it, and it looks really good, honestly. I've been meaning to watch it for ages, but I just never get around to it. It's just another show on my really long watch list, you know? CNR Studios asks, what is your favorite Lego Batman set? So, this was a very difficult question, actually. It came down to either the original Batcave set or the second Arkham Asylum. Ultimately, I think I'm going to go with Arkham Asylum because it just looks so good on either side and it had so many characters. I view the second Arkham Asylum set as the one I use for it. You know, it was the one that showed up the most in Seal the Deal, for example. The SNES man asks, how did you get hold of the original Lego Batman sets from 2006 to 2008? Did you have them as a kid, or did you pay the gigantic prices they command nowadays? No, I had collected them all when I was just a kid. I got lucky. The first one I ever got was the Killer Croc one, and then I just kept going from there. I eventually stopped. There were some that I never got. The first Arkham Asylum I never managed to get, and same with the Scarecrow biplane. But aside from those 2 sets, I managed to get all of the old Lego Batman sets. It was amazing. So, UFC Man Toy Reviews 44 asks, what's your opinion of the DCAU show Static Shock? So, apologies ahead of time if this turns into a rant. It started off really well in Season 1. Had some really serious subjects like racism and gang violence, and it was so good. I mean, it was still the weakest of the DCAU shows that I'd seen. The only one I haven't seen is Zeta Project. But the thing is, it was still really good. And then Season 2 happened, and it just kind of all fell apart in one season. It just got way too goofy for my liking. Like it the characterizations for Batman and Joker felt really off in the first crossover. The rap music really didn't mesh well with the fight scenes, and they replaced the main love interest, Frida Gorin, with Daisy Watkins for some reason. Like, in the comics, Daisy was a transitional love interest to get to Frida, but in the show they acted like she was the one Static belonged with or something, and Frida was just relegated to just being Daisy's friend as opposed to given screen time. So I don't know what that was. The theme song, well, it did eventually get better. It's just not what you would commonly associate with great DC animated universe theme songs. Like, there's Batman, like the da-da-da-da-da, and then there's Superman, like the da-da-da, da-da-da, and then there's Batman Beyond, like, and there's Justice League, like, boom, 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 and then you have Static Shock. And it goes a little something like, you got a who beep, yeah, hey, got a who beep. Like, what is this? So, I don't know what happened, but the show just lost me after season 1. I still watched the rest, and there were characters that I liked, like Frida, Ebon, and Bob, but overall, I think the show was just wasted potential. Like, okay, Ebon, the creepy villain from season 1, like, all signs were pointing toward him being a certain character. Like, but in season 2, they just decided, he's been captured between seasons. Like, the main villain, he's been captured off screen. He escaped every time in season 1, but now he's in jail. And he was eventually revealed to just be someone we had never met before instead of going with, like, the obvious choice. I know there's a thing with comic book accuracy, but why not show his character before this happens? Like, instead of the one that I don't know, it just boggles my mind. I think the show was a missed opportunity. There was still some good stuff in it. Most of the crossovers were good. It's just that first one with Batman and Joker was just dreadful, and that's... Sorry, I know I did rant on this. See, I did rant. I did turn this into a rant, and I didn't want to rant, but I'm going to stop now. So my opinion of the show, Static Shock, it was a missed opportunity. Jennifer E's last question is, did you watch Justice League versus the Fatal Five, and if so, did you enjoy it? I haven't seen it, but I heard it was a lot better than Batman and Harley Quinn, which I guess it wouldn't actually be hard to top that, but no, I heard it was really good. I haven't seen it. Someday I will. Sam Rennie asks, what is your opinion on Humpty Dumpty from Beware the Batman before it was cancelled? Dumpty was great. Matt Jones did a fantastic job. He gave off a simultaneously creepy yet sympathetic vibe for Humpty Dumpty, and it was so fascinating whenever he was on screen. He was one of those characters that whenever he was on screen, I was just like captivated. I think it was him, Magpie, and Tobias Whale. They were the three. And later on, Harvey Dent near the end of season 2. I guess it wasn't actually season 2. It was like volume 2, whatever. It was... I don't know, that show was pretty underrated. Johnny Boy Productions asks, what is your favorite Batman comic book? So there's only one. This was an obvious choice for me. It's The Long Halloween. I think that it was incredible. It was perfect from start to finish. I do not have one single solitary complaint about The Long Halloween. Everything just flowed. And it was so... there's no words. If you haven't read it, read it. it's great. I don't know. I just think it does Harvey Dent so much justice as a character. And it's honestly, it makes the Falcones and the Maronis so interesting. You get to see them all like in their most vulnerable states. You get to learn their flaws, their insecurities. You find out everything about them. Just read it if you haven't. Jessica Hartel asks, who is your favorite honorary Titan from the Teen Titans animated series? So for me, it would be Argent. She only showed up in 2 episodes, but I don't know. I really liked her attitude and her spunk, and honestly, she actually just comes across as really awesome, you know? I don't know how to explain it. I don't know. I like Argent. And that's that. And the last question I have here is from Brooke Dawkins. It is, Azzyland was the one who gave this channel a shout out years ago, and that's how I discovered it. I've been here ever since. What's your opinion of her? I love Azzy. I found out that she had given me a shout out back in like 2017 or something. I knew this because people came flooding onto the channel telling me that Azzyland sent them. It got so crazy with those kinds of comments on the first Mega Bloks Pirates video that I actually had to disable comments because it was blowing up my notifications. Anyway, yeah, I'm really grateful for what Azzy did. We Canadians need to have one another's backs, you know? Like, no, I'm a big fan of hers. She's hilarious. I appreciate what she did. I don't know why she did it. Maybe it was just like a random shout-out thing at the end of her videos. And thanks, Azzy. So that was all the questions. Thank you to everyone who left one for me. It makes me feel really... it makes me feel good about myself that so many people ask questions or cared enough to ask something. I think I got more questions this time than the last time. I'm sorry I got a little salty there about Static Shock. I've been going through a rough time. I guess we all have, right? But I hopefully the next time I upload, it'll be with either that other unrelated to DC or Pirates project I was talking about, or it'll be Teen Titans Season 2. Until then, if you have any other questions, I'll try to get to them in the comments here. Again, let me know below about Puppet King if you want to see him or not. I guess thank you for everyone, and have a good day.